Hello, welcome back to the 1955 Buick build, the POS piece of shit special build. It has been a hectic 2 weeks. I think we are finally to the point where I can call this thing a car. So the last video I did was making the service engine soon light to put into the cluster, which was just one of the small projects from doing this car. It took a lot of time, more than I thought. More than I think usually does, but in this case I had to integrate, or I wanted to integrate a lot of the 1955 stuff into the newer wiring harness I use. So the body harness I used was from 87 Monte Carlo, but I wanted to keep, obviously I'm still keeping my 55 column right now, so that meant integrating the 1955 turn signal switch into the 87 harness. I couldn't use the 55 neutral safety switch or reverse light switch because of where the pedal located. I probably could have modified the pedal, but didn't bother. So I had to come up with a reverse light switch to use, at least for now, until I put a ratchet shifter in this thing or something. I liked getting all of the original 55 stuff tied in. So I have all my dome light circuits working, I have courtesy lights working in here, I have the map light from factory 55 map light working. I gutted the radio and just put the radio head in the dash so it looks like the radio is still there, so it looks original. What else do we have to do to this thing? Lots of wiring. I put a Bluetooth stereo in it so my phone can play music in the car. We had to go through all the light sockets, obviously, headlights and taillights and running lights, license plate lights that I went over before, reverse lights I said, and basically just piece this thing back together. I mean, half the dash was missing when I bought this car, so combined with some pieces I had laying around, a few pieces from eBay, I was able to put it together, and I think it's finally ready to maybe start the LS swap, I hope. So let me show you some of the stuff I've been working on for 2 weeks. I don't know why I keep saying we, because the only person building this car is this guy. So we means me, myself, and I, but I still say we. I don't understand. But everything I had to do on this car, it takes time. And as I said, I plan on driving this car. I drive everything I build thousands of miles. So there's no wire nuts in here. There's no half-assed wiring. Everything is solder connections and heat shrinked and done to the point so the damn thing doesn't catch fire when I'm going down the road. So let me show you some of the stuff I did with it, and I think it's pretty cool. Alright, so first thing obviously is, of course there's no engine or anything in this car, so how am I running all these circuits and testing all these circuits? Well, for now I have all my power feed lines through the firewall just tied to a battery, and the battery grounded to the car. That's it. So that gives me power for the system, so I can test everything. So out front here I have the, get under my battery charger cable here. I have the power supply lines that'll feed the car. I have my starter wire also fed through here from the ignition switch. I have a couple extra wires run here. One is my data line for my ALDL port, which is in the car now, and my service engine soon trigger, which ran out here as well. PCM is going to be mounted somewhere out here. I don't know where. These are all extra circuit feeds, ignition or hot, that were from the 87 fuse box for that. So that is that part. Let's get inside the car. Alright, so first thing, open the squeaky door on the car. And we have, oh, let's open the door back up. We have working dome light, which is missing the lens. I have that on order. I have the map light on the dash tied to that circuit, and I have courtesy lights under the dash, one there and one over there that the bulb burned out because I was in and out of this thing so many times. So close the door, and all that stuff's out. So that all works right. Next thing we have is dash lights. So first, let's go over the dash. Everything is assembled. Looks factory. Didn't really make a lot of modifications other than the ignition switch is now an aftermarket ignition switch, because normally I try to make things like factory, but the 55 Buick had the put the pedal to the floor to start the engine, and that's not going to work with a fuel injected engine. That goes to clear flood mode when you put it on the floor. So that is the ignition switch we have. So what else we got here? We're missing a horn button. Last time I was inside the car, I got a horn button. Not functional, because unfortunately where the brake pedal mounts, it's in the way of my was in the way of my horn contact. So I just put a little switch under the dash and we got a horn. Next thing we got, dash lights. Oh yeah, the headlight switch has changed too. That's a probably 1970s or something ignition switch, common GM. Put the 55 button on it, or knob on it. Turn that on. We get all our dash lit up. Very nice. There's my gas gauge that I made in the other video. It's all in there. The radio, which is gutted, and that's just the radio head, but I left it there. And I don't remember, did I leave these? Yep, still has the knob to tune it and that kind of stuff. The buttons still work to move it, but there's nothing there. It's gutted. Clock is still there. I have power to it. I don't think it's working. I'll have to check it at some point. So that's that stuff. Let's see what else we got here. We got, let's see here. Key on. We have the fan. I should turn the light on so you can see anything under here. Let me get the light on. Hang on. There we go. So the original beat-up kick panel is in there. What I didn't mention was this whole interior is back as it was, is in full POS junk mode. Terrible headliner, terrible panels, rough. But that's how it's going to be for now. It's going to be a rat. I don't care. It's going to be cool. And that's, of course, the dash is still not painted, right? So no. Plans are eventually to pull the dash and paint it and make door panels and have all that hairy stuff, fun stuff to do, but not right now. So yeah, anyway, what I was trying to say is, with the key on, I've got the factory heater switch here. Let me turn the light back off now. So with the key on, this is the factory heater switch. I was going to use the 87 harness, which had a high-speed relay and resistor network to put multi-speed switch in. But the factory switch, I tested it. It has a resistor on it for 2-speed use. So that's all I used. I got rid of the Monty section, and I'm using a factory. So one side is low speed. You can hear it going down there. And the other side is high speed. Works great. And the other thing I did was, because I made the the 4-inch fan there inside there that's supplying air to the heater, and we got rid of the vents because the firewall is clear, I only needed one control now. So I set it up so that this one does everything. So if I push this up like that, that's defroster, that's off, and then all the way down opens it up and gets you heat. So that works everything. These are just floating now. They don't do anything, so that's fine. They're not doing anything. The other thing you can see behind the speaker grill there, I have to put this on a hinge or something. Right now it just pops off, and I stuck a Bluetooth stereo behind the where the speaker used to be for the original radio. So now we got some tunes. It works just great. What else can I show you? Key on. We have turn signals. Stuff's all working. And we have headlights. See it in the garage. And if I step the dimmer switch, we got our high beams and we got our high beam light, which on the 55, I think that used to be red originally, but mine was missing. So I just cut a blue section out of one of the Silverado clusters. And my dimmer switch is on the floor, and I have to mount that because I don't know where it's going to be yet. Once I put the seat in and I see where it's comfortable, I'll get it screwed to the floor. A couple other things in here, because this car is a piece of shit and a rat, but it's going to be awesome. When I bought this car, the top of the dash was missing, and they found it in another area of the building, and they wrote 55 Buick Special on it. I'm leaving that there. I'm not taking it off. That's staying. That's staying. The other thing is, let me close the door. I put LED bulbs in the dash, except for the radio. That's a plain old bulb. That's why it glows like it should, like an old 55. But the rest of them were originally so dim that I tried out these LED bulbs, and while they're white, they're more white than the yellow of a incandescent. They really work nice. And I have them up all the way right now. I can dim them with the headlight switch. And also, if I turn the headlight switch all the way over, you get your map light and your dome light and that kind of stuff. So that stuff all works. What else can I say about this thing? ALDL port is under the dash hidden. Fuse box is up underneath that you can't really see because it's too dark without the light on here. What else? The rear view mirror is horrible. I should get a picture of that. Look at that. Look at that rear view mirror. That thing is horrible. Anybody out there have a 55 Buick rear view mirror for sale? Let me know, because I'm going to need it. I could also use some gray or some kind of darker color sun visors. I have a pair of blue ones that I'm going to just spray black with some paint. They're going to look horrid, but they'll be at least functional. That's about it. Oh, the other thing was I have a power port I put up underneath the dash there, so you can charge your phone. So that works pretty good. There's the fuse box up underneath that side. And the only light on the dash I don't have working is the brake switch light, because that switch is junk. I have the wires for it, so this center one here will light up and say brake if you have the e-brake on. But the switch is actually garbage. And that's the only switch that I found in here, original, that was junk. It just doesn't work. So we'll come up with something else to put there. And we got, like I said, the old POS interior. We got the 6x9s in the back. Blaupunks. They crank. And of course, those speakers and the radio that's back there are all out of parts cars that I had. This is continuing to be a low dollar build. Low buck. If you're interested, I'll go over all the numbers when I'm done. But this car is not costing a lot of cash to build, a lot of hours, but that's how it always works out. So I think that is it. Let me just show you what some of the lights look like. And I think the next video, we will actually be starting to do the LS swap. Obviously, there are no seats in this car yet, and that is because I have stuff on order to low buck put the seats together, so that will be a video as well. I just don't know if that's going to be before or after the start of the engine swap. So thanks for following along. We are finally getting there. I've been working on this thing much longer than I thought. Original plans were just to slap this thing together, and it turned out that I spent not every day and every weekend, but it's been a year and 3 months to get the car to the point where I consider it ready to actually start the LS swap. All right, we will see you on the next one. Going to be driving this thing, I promise, soon.